Welcome to the Creators Adventure, where we interview creators from around the world, hearing their stories about growing a business. My name is Brian McAnulty. I'm the founder of Heights Platform, and today I'm talking with Barak Almog about how to automate processes in your business, selling on Amazon, and the unique ways to use online courses. Hey everyone, we're here today with Barak Almog. He is the owner of SellerFrame.com, a company that helps online businesses systematize, automate, and outsource their business with advanced web technologies, coding, and automation tools. Barak is also a former Amazon seller, blogger, video content creator, public speaker, and owner of several online communities dedicated to helping entrepreneurs create automated and autonomous businesses. Barak, welcome to the show.
Hi, Brian. That sounds very sophisticated. I mean, hearing you reading it that way. Thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here. I've been working with your platform for probably 3 years, I guess, or something like that. And it's a great opportunity to connect finally with the people behind. So thanks.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying so far that this show is a good excuse for me to be able to get to know some of my customers like yourself.
I should do something similar, seriously. Okay.
So tell us a little bit about your company, SellerFrame. So what exactly do you do and how did you get started with that?
Oh boy. Well, SellerFrame is... SellerFrame, first of all, SellerFrame is a small agency. And what I do and what we do, we help businesses, online businesses, automate their operation. The way that it started, it's kind of an incarnation. You mentioned that I was an Amazon seller, and that's where I began my journey. And SellerFrame is kind of an incarnation of what I did before, which was Barak Almog, helping Amazon sellers systemize and outsource. It was just a personal branding. And somewhere in the beginning of previous year, 2020, I realized that if I want to grow, then I need to start structuring. I help other businesses automate and structure and systemize their own businesses. I should probably do the same. And so for the past 2 years, I guess, I've been working with mostly Amazon sellers, but other business owners in hiring good A-player personal virtual assistants for whatever in their businesses. And in the past probably 6 or 7 months, I started doing something that's more relating to my own personal background, which is automations. And this has been growing really nicely because automation is a huge pain that literally every business out there needs. So, yeah, mostly automations, a little bit working with online sellers on hiring virtual assistants. So I don't want to talk too much, but
Cool. Well, that sounds good. So, with your experience as a former Amazon seller, and really, it sounds like you were kind of an expert at that. What was your experience selling on Amazon? And why did you kind of shift away from that now?
Yeah. All right. I mean, I don't want to call myself an expert in Amazon FBA model, in spite of me doing it for 5 years, because the field, the business has changed a lot. When I started it in 2016, that was probably I should mention that my own personal background. I'm 42 years old now. I have a master's degree in computer science and algorithms, and around 2015, so that's almost 6 years ago, I quit my job in the high-tech industry and I went on a long trip. And when I came back, I decided I'm going to start my own business. So what I'm trying to say that I started 2016, Amazon tabula rasa, clean slate. I didn't know anything about business. Back then, it was a huge opportunity. I think the awareness started in 2016. And then there has been a massive, influx of sellers, of money, of expertise. So back then, I think it was a huge opportunity, and you could pick a niche and relatively easily differentiate yourself. And then with the money, with the people, with the seller, with the competition, the awareness started already. It's been, the whole market matured, and a lot of money came in. And so in the past probably 2 years, and this has been pronounced since the COVID, the pandemic, the whole business model there shifted toward professional systems and capitals and so what I'm trying to say is that today, I think as an Amazon seller, if someone is looking to sell there as an individual, it's going to be really, really, really hard because they are competing with aggregators that collect several stores and consolidate their operation. And and then there's another aspect to it, which is back then in the past, you could just rely on Amazon traffic, to sell your business and to sell your product. And so you could probably pick a niche, maybe get some reviews and generate sales. And again, today, one of the things that you need to do in order to sell well is to be able to create your own audience. Maybe a Facebook group or maybe a YouTube channel. And all these things makes this a very difficult business model for individual today that doesn't carry with him a substantial background in business, in online business.
Yeah, I remember back around like 2016 when you're saying it really seemed like if you could find the right kind of product and source it from China, even if someone's already manufactured it, then you could label it with your own logo and you had the opportunity to sell that. And if somebody else was already selling it, maybe there's only one or two people. But now it's like any product that's ever existed, there's 100 people selling it or more than that probably. And also, like you said, they're probably larger businesses with more experience and more money. And they're probably maybe selling hundreds of thousands of other products, not only that one.
Yeah, I work with this business. I help them find VAs and I help them automate aspects of their business because they bring with them a machine. And one of the things that those businesses have that others, and again, I'm comparing to individual sellers, is that they got access to data and they got the knowledge to process it fast. So if for example, you take PPC, which is a huge thing. Back then in Amazon, you could just create a few campaigns and get it going. And you probably should have, would tweak it once a week or 2 weeks. But today, those people, your competitors, they bring with them machines that can actually consume all that data and understand when they need to turn off and turn on. And they have campaigns for individual keywords, and you multiply it again and again. It's very hard for an individual seller to compete. And one thing that, I told you before when we just talked before this interview is that my feeling is in the past, like 2 years, if you are picking any market, any niche in Amazon, it's a commodity niche within the context of that niche. Because in the end, and think about yourself, when you go to buy something, you don't really know the brand or the seller. Most of them are small brands. You're pushed to to choose based on price and reviews. So it's a commodity market. It's very hard to generate more value than beyond these two very important factors.
Sure. So now it seems like you're more focused as an online course creator, and you're selling these courses, helping other businesses and Amazon sellers automate their businesses. So why did you decide to create an online course, and how did that actually get started?
All right. So, if I correct you a little bit, then today actually my business model is courses is just part of it, but what I invest most of my time is helping businesses automate their operation. Well, that means that I'm actually there with them in the trenches.
So more like a consulting type role.
it's a consulting, but we actually do businesses. So, for example, if you are a potential, like I said, up until like maybe 6 months ago, I would provide a done for you VA hire services, but that wasn't interesting enough, and I grew past that. It's also I gotta be I gotta be honest. The VA hire is not something with a high perceived value. If someone is paying, I don't know, for his VA $500 a month, how much would they be willing to pay for the recruitment service? It's very hard to provide an envelope of more value around it. So I did that as a service. And then today, if you're like, for example, a business owner, just even like, yourself, I don't work solely with Amazon sellers. And actually, I work more with agency owners now. So if you are an agency owner, a small agency, and you do most of the things that you do yourself, then you can come and describe to me, for example, your sales process. And then we're going to strategize how that thing, first of all, the process, how it should be best handled. And once we understand that, we can automate it, because there's like a plethora of tools out there that can do literally everything. And once we figured out what's the right approach, then I do the work. Me and my team, we go and we automate and we connect all the systems, and we are there to support. Now, you asked about online courses. I actually use your platform. I use Height platform for many things. I do use it to sell actual courses, and I feel like online courses is an important part of your of any business model. I think of an agency. Not, you can make it your major revenue generator, and that's okay. Not specifically where I do, but for me, online courses have been, in the past 2.5 years, one of the most major tools of trust building, both free. So I created a free course about VA hire. Seriously, this is something I gotta stop, and I gotta urge anyone that's listening to this: create a course. PDF is just not doing it anymore. But when people signed up for my free course, which, by the way, it's still out there also in English. I created it in Hebrew back then, and they listened to me over the course of 5 or 6 lecture videos, explaining to them the entire process of hiring a VA and systemizing their business and delegating their task and managing the VA long term. And then they sit there and they listen and they bond with you, and then they want to work with you. So even if it's not your major revenue generator, an online course is a huge asset in both the marketing and sales process, especially if it's free. I got more to say, but I just don't want to hog all day.
No, I think that's a great point. So, I'm really curious, because it sounds like you explained a very tiny bit about this right before we started the interview, but it's always hard for us to really understand someone's business from just looking at their course or their program real quick. So even though we can see your content, since you're one of our customers, it's still, we don't fully understand how your business works and where all the pieces fit together. So you said that besides the online courses, you actually use Height's platform for a couple other things. So can you explain a little bit more of how you're actually using Heights and how all that works?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I seriously love the platform, because I felt that for me it came in a really good time where it gave the right intersection between great price, great platform, great people. You're very responsive. I remember reaching out to you to help me with API access where I needed some, and your guy was more than proactive about it. You provided more than what I needed. How I use it, I try to use it for everything. So first of all, there is of course, the online course. So one of the courses that I used to sell is the the VA hire deep outlook, or I don't know how to call it. So I call it the VA hire faster, which is really shows in depth the entire funnel that I use to hire VAs, the automation, the everything around it, how to delegate, how I create SOPs, what tools I use to manage them and everything. So this is a course, an online course. And then one of the variations of that course was quite a similar approach that I provide with my service. Okay, and I found out that, for example, I'm going to hire a VA for you for social media, right? I did it like it's done for you service, and then I'm connecting you with that person. It doesn't end there. I mean, you need to know how to get the most out of it. It's like I'm providing you a car. And no offense to the Filipinos, and you need to be able to drive that car. So the online course is an amazing asset to support those people. What I do, I provide a first quick start guide where, some of them don't want to watch hours of video. And then I tell them, you just watch the first module, that should get you going. But then there are other modules which are in depth. So for example, creating a company wiki, with all your SOPs. Some people, they got their approach. They don't want to sit through endless hours of video. And you see that I like to talk. So that's my problem. And so I tell them this is a quick start guide, but to make the most of it, you need to watch the others. And then if they come with a question, then I can refer to them to the specific video. So this is one.
So this course that you're talking about, this is actually for the person that you're going to help give them the VA. It's not for the VA themselves. But then are you going to also provide something or train them in creating some kind of onboarding material for the VA?
Right. So, I mean, this is something that, you're kind of touching a delicate point here, because up until the recruitment, I mean, if you'll allow me to share a few nuggets about the model, the recruitment, sure, for the most part. So again, let's say that you are a car rental agency owner, and you need a VA to help you with the customer service. I can probably help you find that person. We discuss together what the person is going to do, and then we create maybe a skill test, and we kind of adjust the process. But then once the person leaves my premises and goes to work for you, the training is very, very much dependent on the business. So it's very, it's a wide, it branches out to so many directions that I personally cannot provide the training for every business out there. So when I used to work with Amazon sellers, it was easier, because I could have set of training videos, how to create a shipping plan, how to do customer service. It doesn't change so much. So then I actually had an Amazon FBA VA basic course and advanced course. I had it. I think it's still on the platform. I don't use it right now. And it was a separate course for the VAs. And I mean, if anyone is watching here and he's thinking, I got access to Hide's platform, then apart from selling whatever courses or anything that you want, this is a magnificent place to save your training videos instead of in Google Drive or variety of places where you forget everything. We kind of got everything lined up, and I use it. I had 2 or 3 courses, I think. One of them is social media and another general Amazon. So this is another way that I use the platform, and I love that I have this option for me. Everything in one place is very easy.
Cool. Yeah. It's always interesting to hear how people are using it. I mean, we use it for our internal training as well. Definitely, like, most creators are using it and just saying, well, I'm selling courses, but it's always interesting to hear when someone has something unique that they've come up with, another way that a course can be useful, a membership, a community, whatever it is that they end up to build.
I actually have 2 or 3 more, examples that maybe people can adopt.
Sure, yeah. So what are those then?
this is something that, I mean, I feel it's going to be valuable. So I got two more. One of them is that, I mean, I'm a strong believer in masterminds, and I really try to create masterminds in whatever I do. So I got my own personal mastermind. I had one for Amazon, and it's a little bit less active now. I mean, the people still talking me less because I'm not doing Amazon so much anymore. I'm not even pulling toward it. I have one for automation, a strong personal close mastermind. So one of the things that I do is every time that I go live with those people, then I record the meetups, and we do a bunch of things. Mostly we go live, to share successful, processes or model or stuff that we did, and we feel that the others can benefit from, or to consult with each other. And this, I'm recording it, I'm just collecting it in a sequence. So this is another great place. Only us, we have access to these recordings, which is it's a convenient place to see that, and you can also add links below and everything else that you feel that session is relevant to. It's all in one place. So this is one thing that I love using the platform for. And then there is, again, I didn't mention I didn't describe the entire business model. I work a lot in a Facebook group. And this is like this is my show, like Russell Brunson calls it. And one of the things that I like to do, if I'm not, let's say that I'm designing a course, I want to create a course about CRM, okay? And I'm not confident enough to sell it because I didn't hone it enough. So one of the things that I do, I go live on workshops, and usually these are free workshops. I just going to collect a bunch of people and go on a workshop or a live or a webinar and show them the entire model. And then I feed on the responses, and I feel better about myself to maybe, to maybe pass it on to the next step and make it a course. So what I do, I go on these workshops, and it's going to be every 2 or 3 weeks. And since this is kind of a sensitive material, I want to create my courses from it. So on one hand, I don't release it openly. Everything that's public is other sessions, not these sessions. But then on the other hand, I do get a lot of people reaching out to me, and can I get a recording? And I didn't come. I'm sure it's a common problem. I do it also. I sign up, but I don't show up sometimes. And one of the things that I found that works well for me is that I gather all those workshops in a bundle. So I got a growing bundle in Heights platform, and I just sell them for a recurring monthly fee. So I think it's not a lot, even it's like $50, something like that. So this is, for me, it solved the problem. I don't have to, if anyone tells me I didn't show up, sure, there you go, you can pay, and you got access not just to this one, but to all of them. And that's for me, it solved a huge problem.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you solve the problem and then also create another revenue stream from it.
Yeah. For the time being, it's not generating a lot because I don't know. I don't really push it, but it's definitely it's another potential revenue stream. And I guess if I market
I'm interested though in like the purpose of these workshops. So you said like it's for something when maybe you don't know, like have complete like domain knowledge on that thing. So you're using it to be able to also, like when somebody asks questions, to kind of understand where the questions are coming from on that topic, basically.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, when you go live with audience for whatever, then you got like multiple streams of information hooked up. One of them is a feedback from people. It's the smallest thing. Yeah, let's say that I want to sell a course about CRM. And then I see that I promote a free workshop and no one shows up. I don't even get likes or comments. Then I got to rethink if I want to invest my time there. So starts really from posting the first post and inviting people. And then there is, when you start when you prepare, you get assets that let like a slideshow, like a process in your head. This later will be the basis for your teaching process. And then there is, of course, the feedback during. Yeah, I myself, I'm a very technical person, and the worst of it is that you tend to fall in love with your process. You see this magnificent, CRM with a bunch of JavaScript and automations and Integromat, and then when you go to present it, you're so proud of yourself. This is like my child. You see people with wide eyes don't really understand. So it helps you tone it down or tone it up. This is building block for me. Instead of just going at it and creating a course immediately, I love this workshop because it's a mental building block in the process of creating a product that other people need.
I think that's great. I think this is a really good point. I think other people should try this because it's really common for people to talk about like validating the audience and like asking them if they'd be interested in something or making some kind of pre-sale for your course. But the idea of holding this kind of workshop and going live is really powerful, I think, because not only like it's not too difficult for you to do. It sounds like an enjoyable thing to do it. But then instead of like getting on the phone with a single person or just emailing people and asking their feedback, you're getting all these different kinds of feedback all at once, from the questions, from people's reactions or lack of reactions. And it's a faster way to do it and more efficient, I guess. That's really interesting.
And there is one huge benefit that people overlook. And again, I probably feel that I did a lot of maturing in the past 2 years, a lot of it through hardship, I admit. And one of the things that I found out is that, you double down on sharing. Share as much as you can, as early as you can, help as many people as you can. And one of the things that you reap with this workshop is a lot of good karma. And then later, a person that's been in your workshop first, he might become your client later because he developed a lot of trust in you. But even if he doesn't become a client, one of the things that I found out that people, after being in my workshop, maybe 1 or 2 free workshops, they would come and then we would share stuff with me. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that I have, my workshops are pretty much automated. Still a lot to do there, but I got solid automation there. And one of the participants, he's got a better process. He's using, I think, one of the webinars, whatever, maybe Gem or the other one, for an evergreen webinar. And he just opened it up for me and he shared it with me. And he actually even offered for me to try it out in his account. So I don't need to pay a couple of hundreds of dollars. So this is something, you go live with people, you do these workshops, you reap good karma and it comes back to you like fast. People are really grateful when you help them improve their online business.
That's great. I mean, there's definitely, I think, a lot of power in being able to communicate live with someone, and then if you can answer even one question for them, that really shows them that like you are a real person, you're really there, you're someone that they can trust, and it really builds a connection that then they feel like, hey, you know what, I think I know this guy, he's giving me value, I think I'm gonna buy something from him in the future.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me a sentence that always comes to mind where back then I used to listen to workshops by Dan Kennedy, which is one of my favorite marketers. Rest in peace. And I remember one sentence struck me specifically where he said that I'm not sure exactly what the phrasing was, but to build trust, you don't need to show expertise. You need to show some competency because there's so little of it. And I mean, it does make sense, in various contexts. So you go on a workshop, you don't need to be an expert. You just go with people and you show some competency, and then they're happy with you, and they want to do business with you.
That's great. So I want to go into a little bit more about all of the skills about like being able to properly systematize and delegate and automate things in your business. So like that's a whole skill set on its own. And I think that's something that especially a lot of individual creators or entrepreneurs struggle with. So if you could give like one tip about how someone could better learn to automate or delegate things in their business, what would that be?
Yeah, definitely. I get that a lot. And again, like in spite of me being ahead of probably 95% of the people around me, um, I still feel like a beginner there because I think that systemizing is not it's not really a skill set. It's more, one more fundamental mental aspect. I think it's a mindset, and you develop it over long periods of time and effort. And yeah, I got one very important tip that it took me time to learn, is that many people's where they want to systemize, immediately they look, at some sort. They look for some all-encompassing solution, like say like CRM. I want to create a CRM, so let's start looking at a bunch of software and create a bunch of processes. But I typically actually would start from the bottom here, meaning let's just pick one small problem that is bugging me constantly. For example, let's say that I get daily invoices over email from various services that I pay to, and I want to file them, and I do it manually today, and I write it down in Excel. So this is a small thing, but maybe I can systemize and I automate it, and that will be a building block. I got one process automated. So what I suggest to anyone that wants to take more steps in automation is, first of all, kind of figure out what are the things that bothering you. Okay, like let's say that you have to get leads manually from your website. I'm choosing the simple things in purpose. Just solve this thing, and once you did, share it with others, which is really, really important. It's, again, for me, it's a workshop, but you don't have to have a workshop. You can just post a post on a Facebook group, and let's say, yeah, I succeeded in automating my invoices. Anyone is interested. And then you can go live with 3 or 4 people, just Zoom, don't even record it, and show them. And then they provide a feedback, their own systems, and you grow around it. So that's the way to grow in automation. You don't look for a bunch of videos that show you the entire process. You start with solving small problem. You claim some of your time back, and then you share it. You have to share it, and you reap the benefits from other people, what they give you. In terms of resources, there's a bunch. I mean, I read Work the System back then. It's free online. It's just search Work the System. It's a great book. Then there is a bunch of others. And by the way, I'm not sure if my details would be there. Anyone that is, anyone that wants to ask anything, you want my advice or you want some help, is free to reach out to me. If there is, you can just find me on Facebook, Barak Almog. It's quite easy, and send me a message. I'd be happy to help, refer you to more resources, whatever. So this is my tip.
Yeah. So they can find you on Facebook. Where else can they find you? Your website is SellerFrame.com, right?
Yeah, I got my contact details there also. Probably Facebook is maybe the best medium. They can just email me at barak@sellerframe.com. And I love to help. I love to connect to people, and just feel free. Anyone that's watching is to reach out and ask anything.
All right. Well, that's great. Well, before we get going, I have one more question. So in this show, we like to have each of our guests ask a question to the audience. So for our audience members listening, if you could ask them anything right now, what would you want to know from our audience?
Oh boy. Well, I actually was prepared for this question, but now I feel that I prepared some maybe not very interesting question. Well, I thought in the context of what we're talking, I'd be happy to hear how other people are using Hive platform for and courses for their own business model. So this is one question. Maybe maybe I could have thought of better one, but just generally, it's one thing that I like to inquire other people about, to ask other people about their models. So business model, and then I learn. So, I guess that's it. How do you use Heights platform besides selling courses? Maybe there's something I didn't think of.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. All right. So how do you use Heights platform besides selling courses, and what is your business model?
Yeah,
Cool.
pretty
All
much.
right. Well, Barak, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was great.
Yeah, this has been real fun. I was a little bit worried that I would not know what to say, but I guess that was the problem.
No,
I
that
hope
was
it was.
great. So
Thanks.
great to
Thanks for
talk with
having
you.
me.
Thanks.